Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome back from the weekend. Hope you had a great weekend. All right, let's jump into our cosmic weather for today. Get things situated here. All right, our cosmic weather today starts off as always at spaceweather.com, looking at our current conditions. Solar wind is blowing at 365.1 kilometers per second. Our planetary K-index at the moment is low. It's at a 1. In the next 24 hours isn't expected to get any higher than a 2. Now, if you look down here, we have our picture of the sun and the coronal hole, and if we get a good close-up look what we got going on down here. Here looks like that triangle. Can't see some part of it here, but I was having a good look at it the other night, and you could see there's some nice lines and stuff in here. So this looks like a triangle, which made it all the way around and is back again. The chance for an M-class flare is pretty high, 35% chance. However, an X-class flare is only about a 5% chance. And any sort of geomagnetic storm activity is pretty darn low. 15% is the highest chance we have. That's in a higher latitude, and that's for a minor. So we shouldn't really be dealing with too much in that regards today. We have on Tuesday, just to keep you aware, Tuesday 27th between midnight and 5 a.m. NASA plans a rapid fire launch of 5 sounding rockets from the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. The rockets will deliver a chemical tracer to the upper reaches of the Earth's atmosphere, forming milky white plumes that reveal high-speed winds at the edge of space. This display should be visible to the naked eye from coastal areas between South Carolina and New Jersey. Alright, and tonight you might want to... Is this last night or tonight that the moon's in the triangle? Sunday night photographed the triangle, okay. So a nice little triangle out there. The other night, the sun and the moon are still doing some interesting things. Again, you got tonight, 26, you're going to be able to see the triangle in the sky with the sun, the moon, and Jupiter. So it should be a cool sight. Astrologically, we're still in the same sun sign, so our conscious is dealing with the ideas of fire for this month. And at the present moment, our unconscious mind is in Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign, so therefore we have earth and fire are the two elements we're dealing with. Conscious mind is fire. Ideas, creativity, unconscious mind is earth, more practical issues. So we've got practical things going on underneath. It's the beginning of the week. So moving right along, our current moon phase, we've just passed the new moon, which just happened on the end of last week. So now we're already on our way back up, 14% full, moving towards a full moon within the next 2 weeks. And our Mayan oracle for today, we're in a new wave spell. We're in the second day of a new spell right here. It's a 13-day wave spell. This wave spell, the lead one is the warrior. So therefore the 13 days of this wave spell is called the warrior wave spell. It's all based on this particular theme. The warrior asks questions, uses intelligence. The warrior is not always about fighting, because sometimes you use your mind so you don't have to fight. Alright, now, so today we're in this one, the kin, second day. So we're two-tone, which is called the lunar tone. Those correlate to the 13 positions. We're at the kin of the earth, red earth, which is right here in the middle, and above it the guide is the red moon. The earth is all about navigation and synchronicity. The moon is all about universal water. It's about nurturing, being born. How tides move back and forth, things of all this nature, things you hear about the moon, we can apply this idea to here. And then the supporting cast members around the day kin is, you got the antipode kin, which is the hand for today. The analog kin is the white wind, and the hidden or the occult kin is the seed. Altogether, the phrase is, I polarize in order to evolve, stabilizing synchronicity. Seal the matrix of navigation with the lunar tone of challenge. I am guided by the power of universal water. And today is a galactic activation portal day again, so the energies are intensified because they just are. All right? And there you go. That's our Mayan Oracle for today. That gets us started so we know what's going on weather-wise. Dirk Bradshaw is here today with a report all about the police and the raids that they do. Dirk, over to you.
And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives?
Flying high above the planet Earth, this is the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw. I am Dirk Bradshaw. In a shocking development, police began guns-drawn raids on organic food stores in California. We speak with an owner of Rawsome, a Venice Beach organic food store, caught up in one of the raids. This story has caused a firestorm online, with many groups concerned about abuse of police power and unnecessary safety regulations concerning the consumption of organic and raw foods.
The health code basically has been written to prohibit the sale of all kinds of things. You know, you can't sell fresh juices any longer. I mean, they've gotten so involved in this ridiculous stuff that now the real question should be posed. And I was on KFI radio the other day, and basically the question to be posed is, who is behind it ultimately, and what is the purpose? And these are the kind of questions that need to be posed, because it's not what one club was being rated compared to another one. We have what's called a digital laser-guided temperature gun here that actually looks like somewhat like a gun. My question, which I have not posed to anybody, is, let's just say somebody had walked out one of our small walk-ins with that, faced at one of these guys with a gun drawn. Maybe, just maybe, the other person would have pulled the trigger. These foods that have now been made illegal, raw goat milk, raw juice, raw anything. I mean, especially raw products. I mean, you can't go to the Whole Foods and the farmer's market anymore because they're controlled by the health department. And those places can't sell unpasteurized juices, unrefrigerated eggs. They can't sell the rum ceviche. They can't sell. I mean, the list is so ridiculous at this point that we had to form our own private membership club with a membership agreement that basically says once you pass the table just inside this small little lot that we have, you have to become a private member, taking your health into your own hands. And so, we've protected ourselves on that level, but, there are probably 20 attorneys attached, and mothers and children and professionals and doctors and dentists and, nurses and real estate people, actors, actresses that are all members of Rawsome. So the outrage just on the attack of Rawsome has been unbelievable. Everybody has stood up and said, no way. Since that point, they have backed off. But they've backed off, I think, because they see how much exposure they have created. We only consider this, my friend George, an opportunity to take this information to the masses at this point. So they've actually given us the opportunity to take this to the masses.
Oh, man, I can't believe it's over. Where does the time go? Well, I see the fat lady's off the stage. She's looking right at me. It's time for me to go put her to bed. I hate goodbyes. So instead I'm going to say, until we meet again, I'm Dirk Bradshaw for the Cosmic News. Wake up. This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. This is the UFO News today. All right, our first story takes us to The ball field. Aliens are Red Sox fans. 2 UFOs seen over Red Sox game. Video, March 2012. All right. Here's one over here. Here's one over here. There's the UFO in question. All right. These 2 disc-like objects were recorded over a ballpark where the Red Sox were playing. The 2 objects appear dark and are definitely not birds, since they fly in a straight line without flapping and at speeds many times faster than birds. And no, it's not 2 balls hit out of the park, wrong color and headed over the parking lot area, which would be dangerous for balls to be hit. Also, the Red Sox are playing outside, giving any UFO a box seat view of the game. What alien wouldn't love that? All right, let's take a look at this. And we should be seeing... It's out in this area here. Okay, we see all the fans. There we go. Let's see if we can capture the next one coming across. Okay, you can see they're definitely not birds. They're long birds if they are, but I've not seen long birds like that. Alright, there you go. That's our UFO story in Boston, Massachusetts. The White Sox game. Or Red Sox game, excuse me. UFO buzzes past Pope Benedict's jet as it lands in Mexico airport. Alright, this is object in question. There's the plane. There it is near the Pope's jet. As Pope Benedict the 16th and his jet landed at Celeyos International Airport in Guadalajara, Mexico. As the Pope's jet was coming in, thousands of people awaited him cheering the jet as it was landing. In the video, we can see a UFO following closely to the jet, perhaps protecting him or curious about him. Either way, the UFO is there. The video was on a national Mexican news. Some species of aliens have a high regard for spiritual beliefs. Take a look at this footage. It will make you wonder. Here we go. Let's check it out. Okay, here we go. Alright, the plane's coming in. This is not the ship. This is just a graphic, just so in case you're wondering. And it looks like right back there. There you go. You can see. In this area, see it? And as this plane gets out of the range, you're not seeing it anymore. Alright, very cool. Very good. Look at the video. It's online if you can check it out. Next, glowing white UFO over forest during sunset in Austria. White UFO is red glow. 34 seconds into the video. Alright. Eyewitness states it was really full of light, but in the video you can see it is very much glowing. In person it was not so extreme, but it was full of light. I am sure that it was not a bird. It was much greater than a bird. No, this is clearly not a bird. That is just ridiculous. If you look carefully at 34 seconds in the video, see a bright red flash of light just one time. This means it is not a living creature, but also not a plane, because there is not landing or taking off lights. Very odd, okay? We're going to look for 34 seconds into the video here. Alright, there's our first, or the object in question. We see it's white. I'm just going to let it roll here for another 20-some seconds here and just look at what's going on. Alright, we definitely see the white object. It's at 20 seconds here. It's coming up in about 10 more seconds. It's going to change or have a red color to it. And here we go. Okay, there we go. So that flash there. Birds don't do that. At least not any birds that I'm aware of. The video's available. Check it out. See what you think. Latest UFO-sightings.net. We have daytime UFO activity over Wainscott, New York on the 24th. Witness report, I was outside with my dog and I had seen several objects in the night sky, which is frequent. I have reported these repeat occurrences to MUFON. I saw a white star-like object descend over my tree line in the northwest direction, where it then hovered. I was able to get 2 cameras from inside the house. When I returned moments later, the object was in the same place. I have video footage, not that clear in some clips, but quite clear in others. The object was in the sky, heading in southeasterly direction for approximately 1.25 hours. I called MUFON, New York director, and we reviewed it all possible objects via Stellarium, could find no objects that matched. I was able to send him footage as I was on the phone with him. Alright, let's take a look at what we got here. This was just the other day, Saturday. What are we seeing here? There we go. Okay, right here. And we've seen these before, so it's not an unknown object to us. Just not sure exactly where it is from. Alright, and one last one here. This is UFO hovers over Queensland, Australia. Let's get a listen to what this is all about.
Was it a plane, was it a meteorite, or was it a cosmic visitor? Residents in one Queensland town have been left scratching their heads after lights were spotted in the sky, and they have the evidence to prove it. Take a look. The residents of the normally quiet southeast Queensland town of Ammermoor may have some company. Charlie Waite aimed his camera to the skies after his wife saw strange lights at night.
So as a joke, I pointed one of the infrared cameras towards the sky and just captured something a bit strange. The screen shows 2 stars in the top left-hand corner, then black grainy vision of something that can't be identified. You can see the lights shining through the centre and it just slowly drifts away. At the local store, Heather Griffiths had her own UFO experience.
It was a very big, green-blue light, and a few other people saw it as well, and I was on the highway and I just said to Mark, I think it's a UFO, but it was probably a meteorite. Charlie would love to know what he's filmed. I'd love to get the video footage analysed and prove what it is. Flying saucer or not, locals are enjoying the buzz.
Very good for them all. We need an industry of cosmic proportions.
Charlie joins us now. Mate, good morning. What do you think it was?
Good morning. I really don't know what it was. I'd love to find out exactly what it was. It's probably some kid playing with his toy helicopter. It could be anything. I mean, look, he's probably sitting back there now saying, "Look, Dad, my helicopter's on TV." I mean, it was quite amazing. I mean, my partner had said to me that she'd seen lights the night before. So I just thought I'd point it up at the sky and see if we captured anything, and then sure enough, the next morning we awoke to that.
Now, have you kept the cameras pointed at the sky? Has it come back?
Yeah, we have kept them pointed up, or at least one of them anyway. It hasn't come back as of yet, but who knows?
Yeah. Look, if it is aliens, what do you think they'd think of Ammermoor?
All right, there you go. I'm going to leave the rest for you to check it out. That is our UFO news report for today. Jump away to our moment to wake up, and I'll be back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. It is time to demand the truth. I know I say that all the time, but it's always time to demand the truth. In the world we're in today, it's very important. So how about that police and the raiding of the raw foods place? You know, maybe they thought it was a donut factory. Maybe that's why they got there. I mean, come on, what could those police possibly be thinking? There they are, standing there in a place raiding raw food. Wow, that's really some heavy-duty crime you're stopping there, police officers. Good job. Way to go. All right. Now, first story up here, Ron Paul. This is Ron Paul's weekly update. We're not going to miss it. Here we go.
With your weekly update for March 26th. This week, my congressional committee will hold a hearing to examine how the Federal Reserve bails out European banks, propping up spendthrift European governments in the process. Unfortunately, this bailout comes at the expense of American citizens in the form of higher prices and diminished savings down the road. A good analysis of the Fed's swap scheme first appeared in the Wall Street Journal back in December in an article by Gerald O'Driscoll entitled The Federal Reserve's Covert Bailout of Europe. Essentially, beginning late last year, the Fed provided U.S. dollars to the European Central Bank in exchange for euros, sometimes as much as $100 billion at a time. The ECB then funneled those dollars to European banks to provide liquidity and prevent crises from bank insolvencies. Since the currency swap was not technically a loan, the Fed did not have to embarrass itself by openly showing foreign bank debt on its balance sheet. The ECB, meanwhile, did not have to print new euros and expose the true fragility of the European banks. The entire purpose of this unholy arrangement was to obscure the truth, namely that the Fed was bailing out Europe with U.S. dollars. But why is it the business of the Federal Reserve to bail out European banks that find themselves short of dollars to pay their dollar-denominated contracts? After all, those contracts often were hedges taken to protect banks against weakness of the euro. Hedges are supposed to reduce risk, but banks that miscalculate should suffer their own losses accordingly. It's not our business if the ECB chooses to create more hazards by providing liquidity to European banks. But why should the Fed prop up Europe's bad decisions? The Fed has promised to provide unlimited amounts of dollars to the ECB should circumstances require it. It boggles the mind. Of course, when Fed officials first entered into these swap agreements with the ECB last September, they did so quietly. The American public only found out via websites of the ECB, the Bank of England, or the Swiss Central Bank. The Fed already has pumped trillions of dollars into the economy since 2008, and U.S. banks currently hold $1.5 trillion of excess reserves. So why don't American banks lend those excesses to European banks if they really need dollars? If U.S. banks could earn 1 or 2% on these loans, they might just be interested. But they can't compete with the 0.5% interest rates charged by the Fed to the ECB. That's one glaring example of the harm caused by the Fed's ability to create money and loan it at below-market interest rates. The Fed argues that these loans will be temporary, merely providing a little boost to get Europe over the hump. But that's what they thought a few years ago when such lines of credit to the ECB were set to expire, only to see the Fed reauthorize them. What happens if the European financial system collapses? Will the Fed be left holding a bunch of worthless euros? Will the ECB simply shrug and turn over the collateral it received from European banks, maybe in the forms of bonds from Ireland, Italy, or Greece? Have the 17 individual central banks backing the ECB pledged their gold holdings as collateral? The Fed has placed a $100 billion bet on the future of the euro. With the strength of the dollar online, this is absolutely irresponsible and directly contrary to market discipline. Let private banks, European or otherwise, take their own risk. let foreign central banks inflate their own currency and suffer the consequences. In other words, it's time to apply market principles to banks and money. Thanks for calling this update. A new update is placed on this number, 888-322-1414 every Monday. The written text can be found on my website, www.house.gov/Paul, under the heading Texas Straight Talk. Thanks for calling.
All right, very good. So now you heard Ron Paul's latest. Yeah, we have to stop propping up all of these other countries and the banks. I mean, the banks are just out of control. They're killing the world, not just America. They're killing the world because they have their secret banks behind the scenes, and they're giving all loan outs and payouts, and it's a crazy world. It's only when people wake up to all these injustices. I know there's still a lot of people sleeping, and it's kind of the hard part to understand. You know, so many people in the world hear about all the problems going on. A lot of people just prefer to sit on the couch and do nothing about it, and that's too bad, because then the problems continue to go on. An amazing thing will happen when people step up against the problems. An amazing thing will happen. That's part of the thing we're going to look for this 2012, to see if people will get off the couch and get into life. If they do, just imagine what's going to happen. Our numbers, the numbers of those who are listening to these kind of programs will grow exponentially. The number of people that will be out actually taking action will grow exponentially, because there's that much and there's that many people in the world who could actually make a difference if they just take action. All right, next story right here. Let's continue on with Ron Paul for two more stories. This is Doug Weed, who's campaign chairperson or works with the GOP leader, says Romney-Santorum-Gingrich unite stop Ron Paul. Well, conspiracy theories do exist after all. Thanks to the proliferation of cell phones, you will hear Alex Hayes, director of the mainstream Republican of Washington State, making the claim that the Romney-Santorum campaigns have united behind a common slate of candidates in Washington State to block the Ron Paul machine from winning the delegates. The apparent move on the part of the Santorum-Romney-Gingrich campaigns is to block citizens favoring Ron Paul from taking over the Washington State delegation to Tampa. Is this true? I am seeking to find out. The good news for Ron Paul people is this. The Ron Paul grassroots campaign is indeed reshaping the Republican Party. It may very well control the delegations in numerous caucus states, which are now incorrectly portrayed by the media to be favoring other candidates. In some cases, the only way it can be stopped is for all three campaigns to coordinate to prevent a takeover. Contrary to the reports in the national media, the Ron Paul campaign will have far more delegates to Tampa than now thought. Most of them at the expense of Governor Romney, but some at the expense of Senator Santorum. States like Missouri, where Senator Santorum won a meaningless beauty contest, will see a sizable Ron Paul representation, as well as Minnesota, Maine, Colorado, Nevada, and Iowa. In Nevada, on the first ballot, the delegates, even if Ron Paul supporters, must vote for a candidate proportionally as they finished in Nevada statewide beauty contest, but they can vote their conscience in the second ballot. In many other states, the delegations are Ron Paul delegates who are free to vote as they wish, and many delegates are now being chosen in states where other candidates won the primary are actually Ron Paul supporters who will also be free if there is no first ballot victory for Governor Romney. And then you can see we got a video here which talks, and you hear them talking about the fraud that they are creating and so on and so forth. So people got to wake up, man. People really got to wake up. You know, last week there's an article that I read, and it's floating around out there, and it's Romney down in Alabama. Now, maybe I completely got it wrong, and this isn't a real article, because it's hard to believe someone would say something so stupid, but allegedly, when Romney was in Alabama last year, and there's newspaper articles with this story in it, allegedly, he actually said that he could relate to black people because his ancestors used to own slaves. Therefore, it's his legacy to deal with the black community. Now, I don't know about you, but if I happen to be one of those member of the black community and I heard a white candidate speaking like that, you think I'd be voting for him? Absolutely not. I'm not of the black community. I'm still not going to vote for Romney. And hearing what he says is just completely ridiculous. nobody should say anything that stupid. And anybody who hears him say something like that and still wants to vote for him, well, they're not thinking very clearly. I would think a comment like that, Romney would have just lost a vote from every black person in this country. I would have thought. But I'm sure I'm going to be surprised, and so are others, who are just going to go and vote for him regardless of what stupidity he may say. So it's a strange country we live in, strange times, and if people would just pay attention to what's being said out there, it might actually make a difference on what's going on in their lives. Now, one more here on Ron Paul. This is Jesse Benton of the Ron Paul campaign, and he is dealing with an establishment media opinionist, is what this is calling here. Let's check this out, see what goes down. Here we go.
What is Ron Paul still doing in the presidential race? He hinted at an answer this week when asked if there's a secret pact with Mitt Romney.
It's very secret because he and I don't know a whole lot about it. But, you know, there has been talk a little bit, and the big deal I have to consider is whether I want to be a czar or head of the Federal Reserve. And I'm toying with the idea which one I'm going to take.
And then you could eliminate your own job.
Joining us now from Houston, Ron Paul campaign chairman Jesse Benton. Jesse, thanks for joining the program. Great to have you as always.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Jesse, I want to call your attention to something you said. We are looking potentially for Ron to be the vice presidential nominee. We're not looking for easy concessions like a speaking slot, presumably at the convention. Is Ron Paul looking to be the VP?
No, that's not what we're working for. That quote was taken at the end of a very, very long description I laid out of our strategy to make Ron the nominee. That's what we're fighting for, and I mean, we still have a real fighting chance to make Ron the nominee. You look at the late primaries here. We've got Texas going on May 29th, California going on June 5th. That's 327 delegates up for stake here, and that's about 29% of the total delegates just in that 1 week window alone. So this race is far from over. Governor Romney is not sewed it up. Governor Romney is showing a real lack of ability to sell himself to the conservative activists of this party. Rick Santorum has been unable to sell himself to the establishment. The establishment Republicans are running scared. They think if he's the nominee, then, you know, we're going to lose 36, 37 states. So, you know, we think Ron could be the acceptable compromise with his independent appeal and his appeal to conservatives at a brokered convention.
Jesse, I am sorry. I'm going to have to cut you off there. Sanford Police Department is having a press conference right now. We are having technical difficulties. We will bring you more of that press conference in Sanford, but right now we're going back to chair of the Ron Paul campaign, Jesse Benton. Jesse, thanks for hanging with us. Sorry for all the back and forth.
Of course.
I was just getting to my favorite question on my list, which is the bromance, and the bromance between, the presumed and purported bromance between Mitt Romney and your candidate. Although, and bromance is probably taking it a little bit lightly because there have been allegations regarding fooling with the delegate allocation. And I want to bring up something your candidate said a few days ago. Let's listen to that first.
Sometimes we get thousands of people like this, and we'll take them to the polling booth, and we won't win the caucus. So, you know, a lot of our supporters are very suspicious about it. You would get the perception that we would be getting a lot more votes.
You get the perception we would be getting a lot more votes, and our supporters are very suspicious about why we're not. The Daily Beast reporting in other counties, joint slates of Romney and Paul delegates were elected after the campaigns joined forces to forge a majority and control the process. In Franklin County, west of St. Louis, County Party Secretary Pam Heitzman fumed about what she called a prearranged tag team, which left Santorum's campaign with no delegates. Is this or is this not tampering with the electoral process?
No, not at all. That's what convention politics are all about. You know, we work with different candidates, delegates on a state-by-state basis. Missouri, it made sense for us to team up with Romney people because a lot of the party county establishment were trying to push Santorum delegates through and shut us out. We teamed up with Romney's folks and shut Santorum's people out. In other states, we're working with Santorum's people. So it's interesting when Santorum's campaign complains about this kind of thing. I mean, this is how the process works. And as a matter of fact, we're working with his people people in multiple states to try to shut Romney out. So whatever works best for our campaign at that time, and we're scrapping hard at the convention process. I mean that's politicking, and if you love politics, I mean convention politics are full contact. They're a lot of fun, and we're playing to win.
Politics ain't beanbag. I think that sounds like the official response. Let's play. I want to bring in the panel here. There is a new Ron Paul ad out, and I will say, Jesse, of all the ads that are on the air, I always find the Ron Paul production value to be really high. Let's play the latest one, talking about the Etch-a-Sketch.
Where's my Etch-a-Sketch at?
Do you have an Etch-a-Sketch?
We're talking about big things here, folks.
They could also be movie trailers about but let's bring the panel here for a second, Jesse, and we'll go back to you after that. That of course was an ad for Ron Paul, but helps Mitt Romney, does it not? Everybody's dithering around talking about Etch-a-Sketches, and I want to focus on the issues, which of course helps Mitt Romney, who has been hurt in some ways, at least in the media cycle, by the Etch-a-Sketch controversy.
Although there was a little jab in Romney in there, and I'm not sure Romney necessarily wants this conversation about Etch-a-Sketches. I do think more broadly, Paul, I mean, he's had these really slashing attacks on Santorum, on Rick Perry, on Michelle Bachmann. I mean, he's really kind of worked down the line. Everybody except for Romney has been on the receiving end of a real kind of bomb from Paul.
Right, which is, go ahead.
With all due respect to Jesse, the Paul campaign has been a flop. I mean,
wow, Jesse, those are fighting words.
Jesse, I mean, as you know, Chuck Todd pointed out recently that at the convention, if you don't have a plurality in 5 states going into the convention, you've got nothing. Your delegates don't matter. Where are you guys going to get those 5 states?
Well, we got them pretty well locked up. We've got multiple states where we're going to carry pluralities, and we're going to be players at this convention.
Which one? Name one.
I'm going to have to. North Dakota, Iowa, Washington State, Nevada, to name a few, Alaska.
Nevada and Iowa already voted. And Santorum
and non-binding straw polls. If you're going to call my campaign a flop, you should at least have a clue of what you're talking about there, buddy. I mean, you sit there and chattering class up there. I mean, come on. They already voted in non-binding straw polls, dude.
You got a dude, Ryan. Jesse, I do want to talk about the Big Mo, and I mean that in terms of momentum, but also in terms of money. I know you guys have a Give Me Liberty money bomb that's going on today. Tell us a little bit about that. And by Give Me Liberty, do you just mean give me money?
Well, yeah, money sure helps. We continue to raise. We're on pace for an 8-figure quarter. We're gonna break through that here in the next couple of days into the 8 figures, 10 million plus, and that helps us get the message out. Lets us keep working. Lets us. We've got hundreds of employees. We're running great ads. We're doing targeted internet. We continue to ID our delegates in multiple states and turn them out, and then we're hoarding cash so we can go ahead and run hard in Texas and California.
Jesse Benton, hoarding cash. Thank you as always, sir. Thank you, Ron Paul, campaign chairman Jesse Benton.
All right, so you hear what's going on out there. You got one guy who spouts out about the delegates. Oh, they already had the votes in Iowa and these other places. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about, yet he is actually saying that Jesse Benton and Ron Paul's campaign, he actually says this is them. They're a flop. Yet the same guy who's saying that doesn't even know how the process works. So you see the problem? You got idiots like that up there giving their commentaries but not knowing. Iowa was just a straw poll vote. They haven't picked their delegates yet. It has to go through the process. So for anyone to get up there and say that Iowa's already done it, they're misinformed and they're regurgitating information that is incorrect. So all it requires is the ability to just go to the primary websites and look up the information on your own. It's no real trick. It's pretty darn easy. Now, here we have a law in Indiana. Indiana governor signs bill allowing citizens to use deadly force against police officers into law. Republican Governor Mitch Daniels has signed Senate Enrolled Act 1 into law in Indiana. The new law allows citizens to use deadly force against police officers they think are illegally entering their homes. Earlier this month, Addicting Info reported that the bill had passed the Senate. Republicans say the bill is designed to keep police safe, but Democrats say the bill will lead to wanton killing of police officers. All right, wanton killing of police officers. I don't know if it's going to be wanton killing of police officers, but I'm sure that there's a few people who are going to step up in this regard. Come on, we're hearing stories of police officers illegally going into people's homes. People in this country have the right to defend themselves. That is what our Constitution says. So if police are going to illegally enter a home, then they need to be prepared for whatever is going to take place when they illegally enter the home, knowing that they are illegally entering the home, and therefore are looked upon as a crook at that point in time. Because isn't that who breaks into your house? Thieves, burglars, people of that nature, they illegally enter. So if a police officer is illegally entering, the person in the house sounds like they have the right to protect their home and their family. And in Indiana, at least they're going to have the opportunity to do that. Now, moving right along, this deals with Obama. Obama and the Abomination. We all know about him. INS document found. U.S. certificate issued to one East-born child of U.S. citizen in 1961. Now, we've been talking about Sheriff Joe Arpaio and his tracking down all of these records, so this goes in regards to that. Implicative discovery. A government document found buried in the online reference section of a Boston Public Library archive bolsters a growing mountain of evidentiary data against Barack Obama's constitutional eligibility to be president. The document indicates that a consular officer issued a single certificate of statutory citizenship within the time frame including August 4, 1961, to a child born to a U.S. citizen between July 1st and July 31st, 1961, in the Kenyan region of Africa. The record also reveals that the certificate was the only one issued for this specific type of arrival in the U.S. over a span of more than 18 months among thousands from other parts of the world. Recently discovered rare immigration record found by researchers working on behalf of an ongoing investigation into the constitutional eligibility of Barack Obama to hold the office of the U.S. presidency reveals that an American consular officer issued a single certificate of citizenship to only one passenger arriving from the U.S. from the Kenyan region of Africa between July and December 1961. The record shows demographic and status classification for a passenger who was explicitly recorded at the INS Arrival Inspection Station as an individual being born to U.S. citizen parent arriving from the Kenyan region of Africa between July 1st and December 31st, 1961. The information and the dates of its documentation are disturbing given the rare nature of the issuance of certificates of citizenship for children who acquire the citizenship by birth to incoming U.S. citizens in this particular region of Africa. So, yes, this is about the Obama, this is about the birther, and I know there's a lot of people out there in forums who are still not thinking clearly, so they keep asking why this is important, why we haven't gotten over it. Why we haven't gotten over it is because there's too many individuals like yourself, apparently, who have gotten fooled and are not aware of what the United States Constitution says. You have to be a natural-born citizen. Obama is not natural-born. Both of his parents aren't from this country. Therefore, he does not apply, he's not eligible to be the President of the United States. So some of you might say, well, he's already the President, so what? Look at all the laws that he has put into position and signed into existence since he's been the President. Look at all the things that he has done to tear this country apart. He thinks there's 57 states in the United States of America. We all know there's not 57 states. But he doesn't. Why would that be? Oh, that's right. He's not from America. Therefore, if he's not from America, he doesn't have the same ideals of most Americans. And so if you're out there saying, why does it matter? It's because there's a president in office who doesn't believe the same things that you as an American citizen do. And if you're okay with that, if you're okay with the president believing that things that he believes and starting the wars and all these problems, then you should just continue living your life and ignore all of the things going on in the world, and the problems won't go away, but you won't know that they're there. That might be the best way to go. Or you can even do a better way, which is to actually stand up and pass this information around to others to let them know we have a man in the office who is a fraud. And the fraud in the office is hurting America. When you decide you're tired of being hurt, then you might do something. Hopefully sooner than later. Now, here is a former White House speechwriter who is taking something serious here. Goes on to say, former White House speechwriter John L. Perry was courted controversy by suggesting that the U.S. military, upholding their oath to defend the Constitution against domestic enemies, could stage a bloodless coup to oust President Obama. In an article originally posted on the Newmax website, Perry wrote, "There is a remote, although gaining possibility America's military will intervene as a last resort to resolve the Obama problem. Don't dismiss it as unrealistic." Despite the fact that Perry was not explicitly advocating such a group, Newsmax later removed the article to ensure it was not misinterpreted. The article outlines how military officials, outraged at Obama's tramping on the Constitution, nationalization of American institutions, rising deficits, unemployment, and taxes, could peaceably seize power from the radical left commissars of the Obama administration. Military intervention is what Obama exponentially accelerating agenda for fundamental change towards a Marxist state is inviting upon America. A coup is not an ideal option, but Obama's radical ideal is not acceptable or reversible, writes Perry. It is important to stress that Perry is not a neocon. He worked under the Democratic administrations of Lyndon Johnson and Jimmy Carter. Perry also warns that America could be unrecognizable by 2012, prompting a coup to restore and defend the Constitution, a prospect that is weighing heavily on the intellect and conscience of all America's military leadership, he writes. Now, let's say this happens. How are you as an American going to feel if this happens and all of those, and all of you who voted for Obama and all of you, those who knew, got to find out how wrong they were? How will you feel if you know that you actually put a dictator in office and that it actually took the military to step up and do something because you didn't have the wherewithal to be able to do anything yourself? How are you going to feel? You're going to feel like an idiot? Well, don't worry. There's a lot of people across this country who'll probably feel the same way. But people get fooled. So the best thing to do is don't be hard on yourself. Just realize we all make mistakes. We all make bad choices. A bad choice was made. We need to do something to correct the choice. We need to share the information so people understand what is really taking place. Now, this next story here, this is an earthquake that took place, and this particular one is, well, this is dedicated to all of those who said the 188-day cycle was nonsense and how it had failed. The 188-day cycle was scheduled specifically to happen on the 22nd. However, it didn't happen on the 22nd. Right away, as you can imagine, the forums lit up with individuals talking about how the 188-day cycle was a fail. Apparently, they forgot to understand the information that there is a window of time within there. Might not be right on the 188-day cycle. And guess what? 2 days before the cycle, there was a big earthquake. And 3 days after the cycle date, there was another big earthquake. So we had 2 earthquakes in the 7-point range that took place within a span of 5 days, all surrounding the 188-day date that was given to us. I would say that was a bullseye. I would say that is a bullseye, and I would think that we need to pay more attention because there's possibly an opportunity to understand a little bit more how earthquakes work. The next time there's a 188-day period is in September, on the 27th of September. So we'll see as time gets close what goes on there. This is a good thing for us to understand because, you know, it might be showing us a way that we can actually read what's going on with the patterns of the earth and these earthquakes. Well, here's Dutch Sense, and he's talking about the earthquake we just had, the most recent one, so let's listen to what he has to say.
Blesse mon cœur d'une langueur monotone. Je répète, blesse mon cœur d'une langueur monotone.
Hey everybody. Dutch Sense here. 5:57 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, March 25th, 2012. Just had a 7.2 magnitude earthquake down here in Chile. Let's go ahead and get the stats on this. We're looking at 18.6 miles deep, 7.2 magnitude. Reviewed by a seismologist already. It's a pretty sizable earthquake for the area. And that's just following up on the two 7.9s that occurred up here in Central America earlier this week. And this was inland, so we don't have to worry about a tsunami threat, thank God. But it's a large earthquake for the area, and for the entire past week here, look at this movement around the planet over the last week. Okay, this is in the United States, 2.5 and greater, around the world, 4.0 and greater. So it's just a huge, huge amount of movement. If you guys get confirmation stories on this, obviously let me know. This obviously caused some damage down here in South America. We're experiencing extreme earthquake uptick right now. Be aware of the situation, folks. Have your earthquake plans ready. Be prepared. Food, water, transportation, communications, just in case. This means that we're going to be seeing some kind of movement up here on the west coast or New Madrid seismic zone and some point in the near future, in the next few weeks, with this 7.0 plus earthquake activity here on the east side of the Pacific. That's just something that we don't normally see that often. All right? Especially not in the same week.
Thanks to Dutch for that report. So yeah, we need to pay attention. This 188-day cycle seems to have some validity to it. So let's see how things unfold. All right, one more story. This comes to us from beforeitsnews.com. 9/11 airplane affidavit by John Lear, son of Learjet inventor. Okay, you can see we've got all the information here about the court case. And some of the things he goes on to say is, I am 65 years of age, a retired airplane captain and former CIA pilot with over 19,000 hours of flight time, over 11,000 of which are command of 3 or 4 engine jet transports, have flown over 100 different types of aircraft in 60 different countries around the world. I retired in 2001 after 40 years of flying. I am the son of Learjet inventor Bill Lear and hold more FAA airman certificates than any other FAA certified airman. These include the Airline Transport Pilot Certificate with 23 type ratings, Flight Instructor, Flight Engineer, Flight Navigator, Ground Instructor, Aircraft Dispatcher, Control Tower Operator, and Parachute Rigger. I flew secret missions for the CIA in Southwest Africa, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Africa between 67 and 83. During the last 17 years of my career, I worked for several passenger and cargo airplanes as captain, check airman, and instructor. I was certified by the FAA as a North Atlantic check airman. I have extensive research as command pilot and instructor in the Boeing 707 Douglas, DC-8, and Lockheed. You can go on. It goes on to explain his credentials. And then here we say in point number 8, part 2, no Boeing 767 airliners hit the Twin Towers as fraudulently alleged by the government, media, NIST, and its contractors. Such crashes did not occur because they are physically impossible as depicted for the following reasons. A. In the case of UAL 175 going into the South Tower, a real Boeing 767 would have begun telescoping when the nose hit the 14-inch steel columns, which are 39 inches on center. The vertical and horizontal tail would have instantaneously separated from the craft, hit the steel columns, and fallen to the ground. B. The engines, when impacting the steel columns, would have maintained their general shape and either fallen to the ground or been recovered in the debris of the collapsed building. One alleged engine part was found on Murray Street, but there should be 3 other engine cores weighing over 9,000 pounds each. Normal operating temperatures for these engines are 650 Celsius, so they could not possibly have burned up. This is a photo of a similar sized engine from a McDonnell Douglas MD-11 which impacted the ocean at a high rate of speed. You can see the engine remains generally intact. Okay. Goes on to say, when and if the nose of an airplane came in contact with the building 14-inch by 14-inch steel box column and then 37 feet beyond, the steel box columns of the building core, the momentum of the wing, would have slowed drastically, depriving them of the energy to penetrate the exterior steel box columns. The spans of the wing, which extend outward, could not possibly have penetrated the 14-inch by 14-inch steel box columns placed 39 inches on center and would have crashed to the ground. The argument the energy of the mass of the Boeing 767 at a speed of 540 miles per hour fails because A. No Boeing 767 could attain that speed at 1,000 feet above sea level because of parasite drag which doubles with velocity, and parasite power, which cubes with velocity. The fan portion of the engine is not designed to accept the volume of dense air at that altitude and speed. And the piece of alleged external fuses containing 3 or 4 window cutouts is inconsistent with an airplane that hit 14-inch steel box columns placed 39 inches at center. So you can see there's a lot more to go on here. So that is available for you to read, see what you think about it. Obviously, there's much more to the story than meets the eye. Much more to the story than meets the eye. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to jump into our meditation for the day. Just go ahead and close your eyes and relax. Close your eyes and relax. Alright, let's imagine now, at the beginning of this week, let's imagine first and foremost that all of our chakras are activated. We are fully energized. First chakra is at the bottom of the spine. Imagine the color red. And allow that energy to move upward. From there to the second chakra right at the belly button. Imagine the color orange. This is the emotional chakra. Raise the energy up higher just below the rib cage. Imagine the color yellow. This is the chakra dealing with the intellectual body. Raise the energy up higher to the heart space. Imagine the color green at the heart chakra. The chakra of love. Send the energy up higher to the throat. Imagine blue around the throat. This is the chakra of communication. Send the energy up higher to the third eye. Imagine the color violet. This is the chakra that allows us to see through dimensions of space and time. And finally, to the crown chakra, the top of the head. Imagine the color indigo, and then the light continues on up into the cosmos, bright white. Feel your connection to above and below. Honor your connection to all that is, was, and ever shall be. Now that we're all energized, ready to go for the week, just imagine yourself walking along the path, thinking to yourself what it is you need to do this week. Not only the physical things you need to do in life, but the spiritual things you need to do as well, understanding that this is important, to take the time out every day to make sure you are connected to the source of all. Now, let's just think a good thought for everybody around the planet. Wish everybody a good day, and with that, we'll bring our energy and attention back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. And there you have it. That's our show, our prayer, and of course our meditation. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure as always. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Till then, be safe. Have a great day. Enjoy springtime. And I'll be back tomorrow. Peace. I'm out of here.